it feels like it's sort of a fabric to me that is kind of who I am.
Who are you deeply? Since you went there, I was gonna let you off the hook.
I am a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern girl who has become a woman.
But when you say a Southern girl,
Yeah,
what's interesting in a place like Los Angeles,
yeah.
that's so not that. What does that mean? All right, you guys, welcome to another episode of Sippin on Excellence, podcast where we talk about any and everything from religion to politics to just general life stuff. No filter, straight from the hip, straight from the dome.
Straight chaser.
Just
no chaser.
At you like we need to
no
be.
No chaser.
I am Dr. Lennon Hunt, and I'm always with my man, Coach KJ. And today we have a very special guest. Y'all are going to like this one. She's good people. The incredible Lennon Parham.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
What's happening, Lennon?
My God.
What is going on?
What a wild ride.
I've been wanting to ask you to come here for so long. I've known you for a long time.
You have.
When did we first meet? It's been years.
I think, I don't remember.
It's been a minute.
Before my son, because I had surgery when my son was 1.5 and he's 9.
Wow.
And I think I was coming to you a couple years prior to that, right?
Yeah.
So a while,
I'm
like
sorry to
over
hear that.
10, 11 years. It's been nice. It's always nice.
Whatever.
You hung around. You feel like
I've been around about the same time.
there you go.
Yes.
But I was here. I remember the first time you told me that your staff had like encouraged you to like start posting your thoughts on Instagram. And I was like, this is going to be good. And it led to this, right? And it's led
to won't shut up.
Yeah. You know, this actually came from our conversations that we had every week when we train.
Right.
And he just
I was on a plane and text him before we took off.
I think we should do this podcast.
Yeah.
And here's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
The thoughts that we have all the time when we're
when you're working out and talking and before and after. Yeah.
Yeah. Where are you from?
Georgia.
What part of Georgia?
Southern Belle.
Where?
It's called Lilburn. It's this tiny little town. Yeah. Do you know it?
Yes. I lived in Atlanta for 16 years.
Oh, my God. Where did you live?
I lived downtown. I lived in Stockbridge. I lived in Chamblee Tucker.
Oh, that's where my dentist was.
Yeah.
I lived in Atlanta for a year.
You did?
I did my internship at Emory.
At Emory. Okay.
Yeah. I went to Morehouse, so that's...
Got it.
Yeah.
Atlanta proud.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was an interesting place to grow up. I think it would have been a nice place to go back later as like a young adult, like at a different time. But in the like early 90s, I was like, get me out of here.
Yeah.
So I did. I left pretty quickly. But I love the South in sort of like when I'm not there, I miss it. Like I viscerally miss it. Like when I go back there to see family, I still have family in Alabama.
Okay.
In a tiny town called Union Springs, which is the field trial capital of the world. I don't know if you don't know what that is. Look it up.
I'm going to.
I think it's like quail grouse hunting with a dog. Anywho, I go back and the weight of the air and the lightning bugs and the smell and, it just like, it feels like it's sort of a fabric to me that is kind of who I am deeply. So I do love it. I do love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who are you deeply? Since you went there, I was gonna let you off the hook.
I am a lot of things.
Yeah.
I'm a Southern girl who has become a woman.
But when you say a Southern girl, what's interesting in a place like Los Angeles, that's so not that. What does that mean? explain it to people so they understand. Because I grew up in Florida, so I know
Yeah.
I know what that means.
Yeah.
He lived in the South for a long time. He knows what
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah.
But I'm from here.
But he's from here.
Yeah.
But he was able to experience
Yes.
that aspect. There's a lot of people who have no idea what that means except for what they see on film.
Yeah. I think there's like there's a manner to me. I think like a kindness that I learned in the South. Also, on the other hand, like a covering up of how you're really feeling, which doesn't always serve you.
Right.
But just a welcoming spirit, I guess. I think there's a patience, like a rhythm, a slow rhythm that I have that is different, very different than the LA world. Yeah.
Let's call it a cadence.
Yes,
I like that word.
a cicada cadence.
Yeah.
Yes, it takes its sweet time, and it waits for the right moment to, find its way.
How do you think that's helped you or served you in your, say, professional life?
Well, patience. I mean, for me, like, so, the entertainment field, notoriously nightmare profession. Like, and people say if you could do anything else and be happy, do it, because it will beat you up. You'll get a lot of rejection. It's gonna, you have to have a lot of self-confidence. And I think somehow instilled in me, probably both my parents, was this trust in myself that I was gonna do what I was supposed to do, or like make my way or find my way, or and I'm not doing what I thought I was supposed to do, but it feels like I'm in the right place most of the time. So,
What did you think you were going to do?
well, I wanted to be on Saturday Night Live. Like
Okay.
that was I saw that early on. I saw like Jan Hooks and some of those like really strong like women from the 80s. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. But I also kind of wanted to just be like a really good actress. So I went to theater school, and I didn't know how you got on SNL. Like I didn't, that wasn't not common knowledge in where I grew up. So I did what was like available to me. But then I met in college, I went to undergrad with a man named Jack McBrayer who played Kenneth on 30 Rock. He was from Stone Mountain, Georgia. And he actually grew up in Conyers, Georgia.
Yeah.
And we were a couple years apart, but he went to Second City in Chicago when he graduated. And so I watched his trajectory. And he said to me like one time, Lennon, I think you'd be good at this. And I was like, I think I would be. So I kind of made my way to it,
I think I would be.
I think I would be. Well,
you're absolutely
it was like
right.
we were after an improv show. Like I had watched it, and I was hanging out with all these like professional comedians, and we were riffing and doing bits, and like I was keeping up in a way, and it felt so good to like play in that way with someone on that level and know that they were like, had been chosen to do this. So, and I tried to get on SNL several times. I never made it to the official audition that you have.
Yeah.
But I think for me, that was okay, even though I still, I watch who gets chosen and I get jealous every year.
It's funny because I look at comedy and comedians and realize that's got to be one of the toughest gigs ever, just jobs in general, to not only try to be funny, but to be a funny that other people are going to find funny.
Right.
Because you may be funny amongst your friends.
Right.
But to actually be in a room and their sole purpose of them sitting there is because they want to laugh and it's on you. That's why I think things like stand-up, improv is hard.
I can't. I've done stand-up, but only in character, as a person who was bad at doing stand-up. And I can't imagine. As myself, presenting myself to the world, that's not the most comfortable thing for me. I would much rather be in character.
Okay.
Doing stand-up, like saying to the out loud to the world, this is what I think is funny. Do you also think it's funny? Like
Yeah.
But I think that, not my character. Like there's no wall or like any kind of like a wig or anything to separate. It's like I'm saying me, Lennon Parham. When I did I did a one-woman show called She Tried to Be Normal, which was like all of these crazy characters that lived inside my head. One was like a solid gold dancer, understudy.
My God. You went back to
Thank
solid
you.
gold.
Yes.
Okay, Marilyn McCoo.
Right?
Well, I have like all of these memories from our childhood, right?
Yes.
Like of like putting on the hits or like any of that stuff
Yes.
where it's seared into my friend Jen just sent me the video of putting on the hits.
Oh,
Remember
God.
that guy did that? He did a lip sync to
Yes.
Endless Love, and half of him was in drag as Diana Ross.
Yes.
And half was in drag
exactly
as
where you're
Lionel
going.
Richie.
Right.
Oh my God. It's seared in my brain. It like formed my comedy, I think. But also Solid Gold was objectively funny. Like even then it was sexy as hell and funny, right?
Oh, for sure.
So anyway, I had a character who was named Sandy Michelson, and the framing is she's dressed like a solid gold dancer, but past her prime, and she's teaching jazz to like pre-K through third graders. But she's the whole time drinking
dressed like a
like
solid
wine
gold
out of
dancer.
a box and smoking and like dancing to like Frank Stallone.
So she's like a Barbizon for little kids.
Yeah.
Barbizon College. Remember that?
Yes, they steal you out of the mall to
Yes.
become a model. Yes, I do remember.
That was the 80s.
Yes.
That was the 80s. Exactly. So anyway, so it was this whole show of like characters that lived inside my head that I thought, like, this is my sense of humor. And I was terrified to like put it on stage. But I also was like auditioning for things, and I felt like people didn't fully understand like my comedy or like how like because I look kind of normal. Maybe I come across as just like a normal, boring woman, but like inside my head, it's like insanity. And I was like, if I can get that on stage and have people get beyond what I look like and understand like what I'm working with, I think then that might translate into work. You know what I mean? Or at least lead to partnerships that I can like blow out that side of me, if that makes sense. Which it did. Like that, doing that show brought me out to LA, got me my first agent and manager, introduced me in a way to Jessica St. Clair, who was still is my writing partner, and we created 2 separate shows together. Like, so it was terrifying, and I actually went to hypnotherapy for it because
Did
I
you
was
really?
like,
Really?
yes, because I felt paralyzed by the terror that I was going to do this and no one was going to laugh.
Yeah.
Even after like years of doing improv shows with lots of laughter, and knowing you're pretty good at this, it just felt really scary.
Is it also because doing improv, you're kind of banking off of each other?
Yes, 100%.
And now it's like you're a solo mission now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just me for half an hour. Like I have to do it right. I have to do the timing. I have to make all my costume changes. And also I wrote all this. So if nobody likes it, like it's
all on
my
you.
fault. Yeah. But luckily it went well.
How monumental was improv to you then? How great was that? Because
Yeah.
I have a friend that he started doing public speaking and he was just terrified.
Yeah,
He started doing
yeah.
improv
Yeah.
instead of going to Toastmasters or something like that.
Yeah.
And it changed his career dramatically.
Yeah. I started doing improv. The first improv I ever did was in high school
Oh,
because I was watching like Whose Line Is It Anyway,
Uh-huh.
right? And we had a comedy sports competition in my high school, and they put together a team. I was a senior, and we won. Our team, our like high school won, and we had never done it before. And I had like the blackout line for the final scene, and brought the house down with a callback of the word fame. Anyway, I still remember to this day, like what was happening on stage and what I said, because it was I will never forget the feeling of like just sewing it all up and like bringing it home and having us succeed because of that, you know. But improv kind of like I bumped around doing it. And also there's lots of different kinds of improv. Like there's long form, short form. So Whose Line is the short form, but there's also long form, which is what they train at the Upright Citizens Brigade, which is where I spent the majority of my career and met a lot of my creative partners. But that's the most like storytelling because there's a format to it. And there's lots of rules and things you can rely on in order to do the work well and have it like resonate. And so you learn the rhythm of that as you're a student of it, and you try something and it fails, and then you try something and it succeeds, and then you learn from that, you know. But it's also like it's how we write our shows. Like Jessica and I will act out the scene before we ever like type anything.
Okay.
We record ourselves on GarageBand. It's very high tech. We record ourselves on GarageBand.
That's where we started.
Yeah. And then
Thank you, GarageBand.
we do it, and then we give each other notes, and we're like, I love the way you entered that, but can we try this? And then sometimes we'll flip characters. We'll each play the other part. And then we record ourselves again. So we're drafting, and then we have that transcribed. And then we look through those pages and we circle like what we like and what we don't like. And then we build a scene from there. And then we rewrite that again. Wow. It takes forever. But it's also the reason that our scripts feel like real people talking instead of like it's never been said out loud. Like it's been said out loud 40 times, you know?
Yeah.
So when you're writing, do you find that you want to write more for yourself or for other people? Meaning actors and actresses.
It's easier for me to write for myself or somebody that I know. Like if I have a person in mind when we're writing, and I feel like I can, it's just easier to access the character.
Okay.
But like when I wrote on the last season of Somebody Somewhere, we knew those characters so well, and I had directed in season 2, so I knew them even better.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Amazing show.
Yes. It was a dream. So when I came in for season 3 and they asked me to write, I cried every time they asked me to do something else because I was just like I just felt so grateful that they felt about me the way I felt about them, you know? But writing that, normally writing is really hard. It's lonely, and unless you're doing it with a partner, which is why I tend to do it with a partner.
It's very smart.
But this was the easiest writing I've ever done.
What made it so easy for you?
I think just because I had an outline, but I also like felt like I knew these characters, and it just kind of flew out of me.
The show there was a flow.
Yeah.
Because they were all real people.
Yeah.
Like this was just they're regular real people dealing with real people shit.
Yeah.
Like,
and I think too the way
that's what was great.
You know, in a normal comedy show, in a traditional, I should say, comedy show, you're gonna have things tied up in a certain way. You know you're gonna see certain characters again. And that I learned so much from Hannah and Paul and Bridget in the writing of that show. It was much more like life in that like you had a weird conversation with the neighbor and maybe something's going to happen with that, but then you don't, that just kind of peters out.
Right.
And then maybe you see him later and he's like getting out of his car, and then you're drunk later and you throw a shoe at the window. But there's like nothing more than that because that's life, you know?
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
In a traditional show, you know, she would have gone to the doctor and had a hard had an exam, and then we would have followed that story. But this was just like she got a call and she's like, your blood pressure's high, your cholesterol is high. Do something. And that was it. And it was like, okay, what? Like, you know, and then life goes on, you know?
Right.
But in the intermittent time, you're spinning and you're like, whoa, what's going on? What are they going to find? What's she going to tell me? And then it's just like, oh, this is a little weird. Do something about it, you know?
Yeah. Because the main character, she has a one-woman she did have a one-woman show.
She does. She
She does. It's still
performs.
going,
She's
yeah.
performs. It's like it's cabaret, but it's more than that. I've seen her live. I had never seen her live before directing the show. I'd only seen like videos.
Mhm.
But she and I did a show together called Lady Dynamite that was on Netflix. This amazing comedian,
Yeah.
Maria Bamford. So Bridget was Bridget's first show, and I played her. We both played Maria's best friends,
Okay.
but we were terrible humans. It was so fun.
She's
And,
like, "We were
it was
terrible.
so it was
the best ever.
so fun. It's so fun to be like just a total narcissist when all you do in your real life is think about everyone else.
Right, when it's the complete opposite of you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I met Bridget on that. And Maria, it was Maria's first show too. But I was still like doing my own show, executive
Mhm.
producing it, acting in it, writing it. So they would look to me, I think, for like, what are we doing? And I would just be like, we just do it again. Like I was just kind of, I think, calmly being like, you're not an idiot. Here's how it works. Don't freak out. This is going to take a while, that kind of thing.
If you look at everything that you do from writing to directing to acting,
Mm-hmm.
out of those three, what
Was
do you
my
enjoy
favorite?
the most?
No, it's not.
I'm just curious as to because
Yeah.
there are some people that really enjoy being on this side of the camera
Yeah.
and not so much behind the scenes. I have friends that kind of do it all like you, and they can always either
Yeah.
pick one or two things that they enjoy the most. They enjoy it all
Yeah.
for different reasons.
Yeah.
But if they could only do one of those things forever, which one would it be?
Oh, that's a hard one.
I know.
I told you
It's like
no
picking
hard
it's
questions.
like picking your favorite child.
Kenny, I told him no hard questions.
Come on, Lennon.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, my first love was acting,
Mhm.
and I love it. It's like there's literally nothing like making someone laugh, either in an improv show or like there's nothing I love more than making a crew laugh.
Okay.
Like behind the camera, they can't make a noise, but you just see their shoulders like, and I'm like, yes. Or sometimes and it's unusable, I'll just make a joke that's like so ridiculous, and then everyone just like busts out laughing, and we're like, we got it, let's move on, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of power in storytelling, especially right now in the world that we live in, and the stories that are getting told, like what gets like highlighted. I think there's a lot of power in that. So what was so satisfying about Somebody Somewhere was I felt like the things that I do well were very matched with what they needed. And so it was just like, it felt like a partnership. And I felt, I don't know, it just felt really organic and really nice. And it was like we're solving problems together. I love a crew. I love people that are great at what they do. And I can say, how can I get this, or how can I achieve this? And like 10 people have answers for me. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I need it to feel like this. Can we do this? I can have this on the day, and everybody like wanting to pitch in because they feel respected and seen, and like they're not just being barked at and told what to do exactly. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a DP. I know when I watch a show, I'm watching, the shot. Like we were watching that show Task last night. Have you seen Task?
I haven't
Yes.
seen it yet, but
Oh boy.
Oof.
Ooh.
I'm like, what did I miss?
It was, yeah.
We haven't finished it yet, but
I'll just say
there's a particular episode, that's really moving, and there's just the way that the story is told, but also the like visual language that they're using. like they'll have some brutal moment and then they'll have a beautiful, like from above shot that looks like it's a nature documentary, but really there's in the tiny crevices, there's like brutality.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's, I watch that stuff and I'm very influenced by it. And I try to bring those things into the work that I'm doing. Like when I directed the first episode of television I ever directed was on my show, Playing House. And it was a Hoosiers inspired episode because Hoosiers is one of my favorite films of all time. And it was the scene where Gene Hackman goes to talk the kid who's like the best guy in the town into playing on the team. And the whole time they're out there in the middle of a cornfield or whatever. And there's no net on the hoop. And he's talking to him and he's just shooting swish,
Shot after
swish,
shot after shot.
and the ball hits the dirt ground and it doesn't bounce. Like the details of that. And then Gene just picks up the ball and throws it back to him. He makes another shot and he's just talking to him. The kid's not saying anything back. So I was just taking screenshots. And I was like, I want this, I want this, I want this. And then the gentleman, Mark Doring Powell, who was my DP in that episode or for that season, was like, we can do that. Like, tell me, and so we figured out a way to sort of like honor, I don't know, Hoosiers in that episode. And hopefully it's a comedy show, but hopefully it elevated it in a way that was meaningful. And, it was meaningful to me. So
What's interesting, it sounds like because of as your career progressed and things like directing, it's like your periphery has just opened up wider, your bandwidth, because now you're seeing just extreme details. Like you said, like the brutality as well as the beauty, because I know what you're talking about. With the trees and the leaves, and you see all of a sudden it's like, guy just got stabbed or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's not what happened. We won't tell you what happened because you're going to watch it.
For sure. I sure am now.
It is awesome. But yeah, just your periphery is just open so wide.
Yeah, well, it was a total learning curve because before I had my own show, I had never executive produced anything and never hired anybody, that worked on a television show. So we had written this show and we made a pilot for like super low budget numbers. And we got picked up to series, but also for super low budget numbers. And we were having to like make hiring decisions. Like I didn't know how to do any of that, right? But after that first season, after having written it, staffed a room, shot it, hired an entire crew, hired a line producer who was hiring an entire crew, hired actors, people I knew and people I didn't know, had a costume designer, like all of that stuff. Then we are in the edit and we have to, now we have all of this footage that we have to piece together, this person guiding us. Like, is that the right person? Like there were so many questions that had to be answered. And after doing that, we learned so much that we used that. We also learned healthy boundaries for our own personal bodies because both of us ended up in the ER multiple times during our very first show. It was like we had to actually bleed, or have a piece of flesh or whatever it's called. We set up more boundaries for when we did another season of the show, and we set up supports for ourselves and we delegated a little bit more. We're both control freaks in a way that we really are perfectionists. And so, but I think, so my scope opened up a lot, right? So like, if I'm in so now I've been in the edit. So now I know I need coverage of this, this, and this. I need this size. I need this shot. I need this wide. And so when we're shooting it, this is why I became a director. When we're shooting it, I start tracking. Did we get the turnaround? Did we push in? Do we have this? Like sometimes we would shoot something and then the DP would say, we have to do it again because of blank. And I'm like, but I just got the performance that I want. I don't care about the blank, And he was like, but we have to.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do, but it's not as good. And then I end up using the one I said I was going to use anyway, right? Anyway, yeah,
Yeah.
my periphery.
I want to shift gears a little bit. It's not going to be tough questions. I
Sure.
promise.
Yeah, right.
I promise you.
Yeah, right.
I promise you, it's not going to be tough.
Okay.
You know, you wear a lot of hats. You write, you direct, you act, but on the other side, in your personal world, you're a wife, you're
Yes.
a mother,
Yes.
and all three are full-time jobs in itself.
Yeah.
They take a lot of time.
Yeah.
How do you – there's no such thing as balance. I don't care what anybody says. There's no such
Right.
thing as
How do you
balance.
juggle it all?
How do you navigate
Yeah.
it and be great at all three? Because you have 2 kids?
Yeah. 12 and 9.
Yeah, I know you have one daughter. You have
A son.
a son.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't think I ever met your son.
No.
Yeah.
You would remember him.
You know, and so I know those things. It's
Yeah.
being a parent is just not easy. I'm not a parent, but
Yeah.
I see my brother, I see my sister, I see
Yeah.
people like you, and I'm like, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And it's got to be tough preparing kids for the world they're in now,
Yeah.
comparing it to the world we grew up in,
Yeah.
because I think it's very different.
Yeah. Putting on the hits versus whatever they're watching.
Or not even that.
Nonstop
I mean,
YouTube, Instagram.
but
like,
so much
yeah.
access to information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And access now.
Yeah.
How do you come from spending a lot of time in a world of make-believe
Yeah.
to coming home to real life
Yeah.
and instilling in your kids that this is real life? What mommy does every day isn't quite real life.
Yeah.
Or what they necessarily see on their phone every day is not necessarily real life.
Right. Right.
How do you navigate those waters with them? Seems like it would be tough.
Yeah, my husband works in education, so that's always been for me a real perspective check,
Okay.
because throughout I would come home complaining about like an improv show, like so and so made a dumb move and we didn't get the blank or whatever, and then he would be talking about real kids with real just challenging home lives, or like getting so and so to read, and so that was always, that balance between the two of us has always been important in our relationship. And I think we try to do the same thing with our kids, because I want them to see me working, and I want them to see me loving my work.
Yeah.
And so I talk about it. I talk about the process of getting my jobs. Like I talk about, I interviewed for this today. I'm so nervous, it went well, but blank, I don't know. And then also, I don't want to just blindside them like, hey, I have to go to Chicago for 6 weeks, So there's that piece of it. But what I do is real. We're storytelling, we're creating these alternate worlds or whatever, and it's hopefully reflecting reality,
Okay. Yeah.
But it isn't like my day to day, right? I also remember like when my daughter was, all of my big show stuff happened when I was a new mom. So I had a multi-camera show that I was an actor on, but Jessica and I were writing this other show for HBO, and that didn't go, and my show got canceled, but we sold what would become our very first show to NBC. And I treated that show like my baby. It was the most important thing in my life, hence going to the ER, and so the minute that show was over, I was like, I got to have something more important in my life than this, because this is not real. And nobody cares about it as much as I do. Mm-hmm. And so no one is going to treat it like it's just so fleeting. And an executive can get fired and your project is gone. This thing that you've been working for. Yeah. So you have to have other things in your life to be able to be happy, I think, in this career. And so I literally got pregnant immediately. right after that, I was like, let's go. and
Oh,
so,
my goodness.
yes. Do you not talk?
Oh,
you said
man.
talk about everything.
Oh,
No
yeah.
filter.
No
No straight,
filter.
no
Yeah,
chaser. Okay.
absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
Right
so
now, let's
that
go.
happened. So I'm cooking Soraya, and that's my daughter.
Yes.
And
Oh, wait.
She's like, I'm cooking Soraya.
and Jessica, my writing partner, and I sell what will become Playing House. Okay.
Okay.
So we wrote the pilot. We shoot the pilot when I'm 8 months pregnant with Soraya. I'm 8 months pregnant in the show as well.
Okay.
Okay. So the show is about me being pregnant and my best friend coming back from overseas to help me. And then we find out that my husband is cheating on me, and she moves in with me to help me raise the baby.
Okay.
Okay. So when we went to our writer's room, I had a 10-week-old. So this is like the biggest opportunity I've ever had.
Wow.
And I have a 10-week-old. Okay. So I don't know how to do any of this. I am not really sleeping. I'm writing a TV show. I hired this amazing woman, Alicia, who's a caregiver that is still in their lives. And she would meet me at Radford Studios every day.
Wow.
And stay with Soraya until lunch, and I would come and nurse her and sleep, just lay next to her for like half an hour and then go back, finish the writer's room. Jessica also got pregnant at the same time as me. So during our writer's room, she was pregnant, and then she had a baby right before we started filming season 1. So I was like, okay, this is the mom I am right now. Like, I'm on the Paramount lot doing studio tours, trying to figure out where our offices are going to be. And I have a 6-week-old strapped to me. Like, but this is my life. This is my job. This is her life. Like, I guess she just has a mom who's a badass executive producer. Like, I don't know.
Right.
I didn't know how to do that until I was doing it. And then we were doing it, But we also, like, the kids were on the set a lot. Like, they were always around as little ones. And that changes the tone of the set. We also had, like, kind of normal hours because we needed to get home,
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't super fatigued for everything. So our crew got to see their families, and we took that into seasons 2 and season 3. So Jessica actually was diagnosed with breast cancer. Season 2 or real life didn't stop happening, and so I was pregnant with my son when she was in chemo, and then we wrote that story into season 3.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that life stuff just keeps happening, and I don't know, like I just kind of like literally we're making decisions as we go, like if I I just got a job. I was in Ireland.
Wow.
Good for me, right? I get to go to Dublin for 3.5 weeks, and work with this incredible crew and cast and shoot a comedy show. What a dream. But what am I giving up? I'm not going to see my family for 3.5 weeks. And also there's an 8-hour time difference. So I cannot basically ever talk to them.
Right.
Right.
Wow.
But I know why I'm doing this, and they know why I'm doing this, right? So hopefully...
You've kind of set the banner.
Yeah, so hopefully there's an understanding there. And even though it's hard, I tried to do work that is worth it, right?
And have somebody in your life that believes in what you're doing.
Yes, and vice versa.
Right.
Right.
And is willing to... understands your purpose and your dream. And
Yeah.
is like, all right, I got you, but you got me as well. Kind of thing. That makes, I think that's so important.
Yeah. That sounds so good.
Right, but it's
not always. It's
right,
definitely
it's
not always the easiest. Like he travels for work too. So like we really have to, he had a conference. He was going to be away for a week, and I booked Veep. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was like the comedy show at the time.
Right.
Yes.
I had a 1.5-year-old. we could not leave the 1.5-year-old alone in a house for a week, right? So my caregiver, Alicia, I was like, will you come with me to Baltimore? She's like, I've never been on a plane. And I'm like, okay, we'll figure it out.
Right.
So I wasn't shooting every day, you know what I mean? Because I was a guest star. So we flew to Baltimore as like this weird little trio, and she had an adjoining room, and Soraya was with me when I wasn't shooting and at night, and then Alicia would take her to, the Baltimore Aquarium or whatever during the day. It was winter. We ate a lot of Chipotle. You just kind of like figure it out as you're going with each of those things. I haven't really figured out the parenting in 2025 versus Soraya has a phone now. I don't know. She doesn't
does
have
it frighten you?
Yes, terrifies me.
Yeah.
She is so she wants to be on Broadway, and she has chosen this school where she's surrounded by kids that also want the same thing as her. And she doesn't have social media, but she can watch YouTube or watch, not TikTok, but Instagram, some of that stuff. And so she's still in this phase where has not really gotten knocked down by the comments of the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really trying to protect that piece for as long, because I think that is because I still have that, that little Southern girl, right? I still have, that's who I am inside now. I still feel like.
And she has that, I've met her several times. She's got this sort of sweetness about her.
Yes.
This sort of sweet innocence about her, that not quite jaded by being a preteen.
Yeah.
And all that comes with it from school, bullies, and
whatever you do, don't see the movie 13.
I know. I already saw it, I think. You know what I'm not going to ever watch is Euphoria, though. Not going to watch it.
Don't.
Not going to watch it.
I would highly advise no.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good show, though.
It's a great show, but
no.
Yes.
But no.
But no, not
Thank
for you.
Right. I don't need to see that. It's also you just can't parent. You can't parent everyone's child. You got to only parent the child in front of you. And my daughter and my son are very different people. They need very different things. They have different beliefs. They have different values. Different things make them light up. So.
Your son's at 9. We're a handful. We are.
Yeah, he's. I don't know. He's a frat boy. He's
at 9, right?
All of that, 6, 7, all that stuff. But also, he's one of the funniest human beings I've ever met in my life, and
just naturally funny.
Naturally funny. The things that come out of his mouth, his vocabulary is very advanced, but also okay, I'll give you an example. This is gonna haunt him because I'm telling this story a lot. We were coming up the stairs and he farted in my face because I was behind him on the stairs. And I was like, Kai, you cannot fart in my face. And he just turned around and he's like, I got a case of the beans, my sister. So I burst out laughing.
I was like, what do you say to that?
I burst out laughing, but then I was like, Kai, I'm not your sister. And he goes, I got a case of the beans, my mother. And I was like, oh, that's worse.
So he's very, very quick with it.
He's very sharp, very smart, has been ever since he came out. He's really just.
So does he torture his sister?
Yeah, but not all the time.
Okay.
Which is good. They love each other. She babysat him for the first time the other night when we went on a double date, and they were so proud of themselves and so excited, and it went really well.
Yeah.
So,
how do you challenge the sweetness though with the daughter? Just challenge the sweetness just a tad bit, so they. It's you want to hold on to that sweetness, but at the same time, it's there's a real world coming.
Yeah, it's coming. She's dealing, like, it's not avoiding her.
Yeah.
There are things that she's had to deal with, challenges in her
Okay.
life, but also, like, in our family life, like, my parents' home burned in the Altadena fire. Also, the
Sorry.
school that she went to was burned, so, and that's the school Kai was attending. So now he goes to the same school, but at a different location in Pasadena. So, like, the hits, there have been hits, and
Mm-hmm.
she's incredibly resilient. And I don't know where she has this thing that she does where she will rewrite the narrative in a way. Like, I remember early on, even in preschool, there were these two girls that had made fun of her because she had, like, an imaginary friend that she was trying to share with them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, that's not real, or something like that. And by the time it got to me and she was feeling comfortable sharing that story, she was like, yeah, they don't understand. And that's okay. Like, they just don't get it, basically. And I was like, hell yeah, they don't get
Right.
it.
That's a pretty mature outlook.
Yeah. And so she goes through her ups and downs and sort of like, why do I have to deal with this challenge or whatever? But she's really good at like she's had to wear a brace. She had to wear a brace for several years for scoliosis. And she was like, yeah, but when I get hit with the dodgeball, it doesn't hurt. And I was like, okay. She was like, it's my armor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I didn't give her that. And I haven't taught her to rewrite the narrative, because I try to just like listen and validate where she is. She's doing that already. So
That's
Very
impressive.
cool. That's very impressive.
yeah, I hope it's like not a deflection or like,
I mean, there's adults that can't do that.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
she's got a good head on her shoulders.
Yeah,
heading
she
in the right
does.
direction.
She does.
What if anything, I'll tell you. Let me back that up. I was thinking about this earlier when you were talking about how you got into comedy and things like that. Who's been your biggest influence?
In my career?
Yeah. Like who you look, getting started, going through kind of the steps of becoming you. Who do you look at and say, you know what? I like the trajectory of their career. I like how things went for them. I took pieces of them, and because there's so many people that, like in medicine, there's so many people that I respect.
Yeah.
For the things they've done right and the things they've done wrong. And so in comedy, who would you say are sort of like the people that you've looked at and said, you know what? They did it right. And it's where I am or hope to be.
Yeah. I was applying for a directing mentorship with the DGA Squad, which is part of like the Women's Steering Committee and the Directors Guild. And I had to write a list of women who I would want to be mentored by, whether or not I even knew them. And one of the people that I wrote was, well, I had several people. One of the people that I wrote was Sarah Polley.
Okay.
So she made that film Women Talking, which came out a couple years ago. It was about like a Mennonite community where there were, you may not have seen it. I don't think it was made for you.
I'm like, I don't think I've seen it now.
It was so well done, but and it was moving. It was a moving film. There wasn't a lot of comedy to it. But I also heard about the way that she ran her set, because there were a lot of kids in the cast.
Okay.
And I was like, she just rewrote like the way that goes. Because usually shooting anything is experience. And thank God you love it. You know, it's comedy or whatever, and you love going to work because you get to see all these people that you love and you get to make them laugh or whatever. But you're there so many hours and doing it again and again and again, right? And usually that progresses during the week. So you have to be there at 5:30 a.m. on Monday. By the end of the week, you're getting there at like 1 p.m. and shooting until Saturday morning, basically.
Okay.
So it's a rough thing. But she was like doing things differently and making it a more humane experience, especially for the kids, and like encouraging just like a more, I don't know, holistic like experience. And I was like, I just loved the projects. She also, one of her first films was a movie called Away with Her, which was about an older couple and the woman has Alzheimer's. And it was so beautifully done. Anyway, I like her work, but she's not a comedian.
Yeah, I mean,
you know, I also like take inspiration just from the work that's like other shows that, you know, I'm watching and I'm like laughing at do you know that show Dave?
Yes.
Okay. So that,
Amazing.
right. So I was like, that show was like no other show. Like you've never seen a show like that, right? But I thought it felt so real and human because it came from his voice, you know? So anytime I'm seeing like an artist who's telling their story or, you know, just an authentic story, like what is it that, you know, that's one of the things that was instilled at us at the UCB. Like, what is it? What do you have to say? Like, what's your story to tell? How are you funny in a way that no one else is funny? So like, my crazy show with my solid gold dancer. Like no one else was doing that, you know, like that was me and that will always be me and that is me. And that's how I put myself out there and hopefully will continue to put myself out there.
Another question.
Yeah.
Kenny, we're gonna
help me.
We're gonna slowly kind of wrap it up.
I don't know what I can do for you
But
on this one.
How do you keep your voice for what's happening in the world today and not be able to speak your mind in a way where others who do what you do may be afraid of being stifled by Hollywood? Does that make sense? Like, you don't quite like having the powers that be try to quiet you so you don't voice your opinion as much as you would like. And the reason why I say that is because I look at your social media and I see that you have opinions about things and you share them.
Yeah.
Whereas I know a lot of people who are in your industry who will say things to me but will never share them.
Okay.
Because they're so afraid of repercussions from people who may believe or feel different.
Yeah.
How do you navigate that?
I don't know. I feel like it's been a slow evolution because I remember thinking like a while ago, like that I would love to be able to post something, but I was worried. Like I was on this show, Bless This Mess at the time, which is, I was playing like a Nebraska ranch wife and we were, you know, I felt like probably the people that were watching that show, my fan base, would not take kindly to me, you know, having this opinion.
Right.
And it always feels like, you know, a lot of times, you know, you're like, stay in your lane, like whatever. But like that's, I don't know, comedy is a commentary, right? On most of the time on what's happening. And it's sort of like a necessary, the work that I do, I feel like is hopefully reflective, right? Like you're holding up a mirror kind of, or looking deeper, maybe at pieces that people aren't always seeing, the underneath of things, you know? I don't know. I don't know if I just got like, I think literally what's happening right now is so insane and so outrageous and
Agreed.
like there are, like parents of that have kids at the school that my kids go to who were taken out of a car wash and are still in detention after months and months.
Right.
And did everything right, were working at the time, had their paper, like that piece of it for me is so deeply upsetting and also personal,
Yes.
in that way. And I also feel like I have, I don't have a million followers. I don't even have 100,000 or whatever, but there are people following me. I know people are watching some of this, and I don't know how the algorithm's allowing it to reach to the right people, but I do have some kind of a platform, and I feel like I'll post like a Kenny Loggins video, like a palate cleanser, right? Like, or a Shaka Khan or something. And then I'll post like, here's the LA Taco guys rundown for just today. 30 people were taken from a Home Depot in a blank, 7 people got their car windows smashed out. And I'm like, if I can spread this message to one person that didn't know this was happening and is outraged in their community, I think a lot of us are very upset about what's happening right now.
And just opening the eyes to people to say, hey, look, why is this okay?
It's not.
Exactly.
It's not.
And the fact that you're not afraid to say that is what more people, regardless of the size of their platform.
Yeah.
If you have a platform with one person listening, you should say what you think in those moments, because it's so many people are quieted, and the people doing wrong are not. They're not quieted at all.
No, they feel like they have authority to do this, to behave in this way. I don't know who gave, no.
It's unethical. It's flat out wrong.
It's inhumane.
Yes.
It's absolutely inhumane.
And and we try to speak on it as much as we can. And the more that we speak out about all the things that we think are wrong.
Yeah.
We don't have to sugarcoat it. We don't have to make it up, because it's in our face every day. It's in plain view.
Well, I also you probably still have friends in Georgia. Like when the riots, like when it was war on the streets of LA, and I'm like, I'm taking my daughter to the dentist, like, and people on my Facebook, because that's how I am connected to like all my old high school friends, were talking about like, oh my God, what's happening in LA?
Yeah,
right?
Everybody called me up and was like, it's a war zone. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen not a single protest.
Yeah.
It's around one building.
Yeah. Yeah.
LA's big.
Very big.
Oh, LA's burning down. No, they burned a trash can downtown.
Yeah. They set a Waymo on fire. There's too many of those anyway.
I'm like, there's way, right? I mean, if you really think about it,
way too many.
There's way more cars getting burned after the Dodger parade than there is.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well,
over a protest.
like the bananas behavior that they had outside of out of the short, whatever it's called, the shortstop, which was like, people just because the Dodgers had won the World Series and they were out, and then dudes on horses come through. I'm like, what? First of all, why are there ever horses? Right? Like, are you getting special horse
why are
training?
they rolling downtown on horseback?
I don't know. I guess, but that's also like that authority thing. It's like if you're physically above people, then you don't feel like you are those people.
It's like the statues in the South.
Yeah, the Confederate. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think more of us need to open our mouths after we've actually taken the time to open our ears and our eyes, because most of us are sitting around like this, and I think it's absolutely insane. And I'm hoping that more people will begin to speak up. People always say, oh, it's crazy Hollywood. Nobody wants to. Yeah. California's just a different country. Yeah. Nah, we're here. And this is real life. And this is why we get attacked. And I think it's silly that people think there's nothing wrong with it until it hits close to home.
Well, I'm really feeling hope seeing like these protests in Charlotte and stuff, like
Yeah.
seeing the 30,000 students walking out of their classroom and seeing the protests and seeing like, a network at a daycare just like, nope, get back inside. Like, and we'll handle this. And people are bringing groceries to houses
Or
and
everyone
stuff.
going to Home Depot buying the ice picks.
I know.
And then returning
And they're
them.
returning them. I know.
Shut the store down.
That's
so they
great.
say you can actually shut these things down
Yeah.
if you become involved.
Yeah. Well, there's a boycott, right? There's supposed to be a boycott starting Friday to Monday, like Black Friday to Cyber Monday, which is like when, I don't know, 20% of their revenue come in, right? For the season. So
You have to hit people where it hurts.
Yeah.
Hit their bottom line, and they
I
listen.
haven't shopped at Target since January, and that is very hard for me.
We haven't either. I haven't
But
been
it's
since
like,
January.
yeah, but did you see how much like revenue they lost?
Significant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just following Jamal in Atlanta. That if that preacher tells me to not shop
Jamal
at Target,
and I graduated.
no, you did not. Well, please tell him this white lady is listening in Pasadena. I literally Target before was my church, and I'm like, no, I haven't been in, and I know, I mean, that's like such a pathetic sacrifice for me to make, but. It was a way that I like emotionally regulated. And so I'm having to figure out a different way to do that. But I just can't, I just can't. I can't do that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, more people should take a stance. And I think most people don't. They bitch and moan, but then they won't act.
yeah.
And bitching and moaning does nothing if you don't act on it. Act up, act out, however you want to do it, but do something.
Mm-hmm.
Lennon.
Yay!
This was great.
Thanks for having
This
me,
was
gentlemen.
a great conversation.
I
Thank
was
you
nervous.
Were you really?
Come on.
Yes.
You thought I was going
Yes.
to throw some tough stuff at you?
Yes, and
No.
you did.
No, you sailed right through that like it was nothing. Come on.
I'm the buffer.
Anyway.
Thank you.
Lennon Parham, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lionel Hunt.
Thank you so much.
Penny, KJ, Coach KJ. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you guys always for being a part of this. We will post on the write-up everybody's handles and all that good stuff for social media. Lennon, go check her out on everything she does. It's everywhere. She's everywhere.
Oh, watch Minx. It's
Minx.
streaming on Netflix right now.
Minx on Netflix.
I'm an actor in that. Yeah. And there's a lot of male nudity. So, yeah. You're welcome.
You heard it.
Oh, I'm going to have to take the star off of that one.
Right.
Take it off my list.
And on that note, y'all, we're out.